This week's progress has been mostly bug fixing and cleaning up some of my code. I'm still kind of at a similar state to where I was last week, so if we hit play here, we can see my functionality is the same for the most part. There's been a few changes I've been trying to implement that I'm just having trouble getting to kind of behave correctly. If we plant a seed, we still have the same system for initializing these, so they can be wherever they want to be. And then when we hit the next stage, they disappear at the moment. So I've been working on implementing a different functionality in here to help speed things up in my code. So before I was destroying and reinstantiating each of those objects, and so I was adding a lot of overhead into my code. Now the system is going to be based off of just changing the actual mesh render of each object. So right now I'm working on setting up a system that will make things a little bit more fluid and easy to work with and also save space. The hope with this is that once I have this initialized and figured out, it'll be easier to debug why my inventory system isn't working. So last week when I clicked everything through to the final stage and I clicked on the last mature prefab, that should go into the inventory system as a different produce data item, and those are located under here in my resource tab. So I have the inventory data that are the seeds, and then the produce data that are the kind of final produce type. And they all have their own sprites and display names and stack sizes like the seeds do. And the seeds are referencing that produce data item, but for some reason they aren't getting added into the backpack still, and so that's a problem. So I'm hoping by changing the system that it'll help me figure out what's going on and also keep things a little bit more simple to do the debugging. So the hope is to have that finished and fixed by end of week. That way on Monday I can get a system set up for the other things that I need. Currently, it's going to be probably a fairly basic harvesting system, and that way I can push updates as I go once the game is actually published. So this energy system is going to be the same for now, and I don't plan on implementing anything like cleanup of weeds or like other damaging things that could happen to the plants. It's going to be more just kind of like a stasis that they'll stay in until they are watered. Then I'll be based off of the energy count for what's needed. I'm also hoping on getting a system where it takes different watering or energy, different amounts of energy to water different plant types depending on how much more they're worth than the other kind. Similar with the planting system or the sprouting system from beginning to end. Other than that, there's a few other little back end fixes I need to work on. Kind of some of the naming systems that I have are having issues with each other, and then getting all of the UI set up correctly will be another thing. So we can see here the menus aren't quite fully working. So I have the pause menu here, which just leads to a resume state, and then this home page, which is going to be the main screen for everything. Because I have everything in different scenes, I'll just need to make another scene for the homepage, and this will just lead to that instead of one screen here. And that's because of how I had this originally copied. I was going to do just one scene with different menus that popped open and closed, so I didn't have to reinitialize every single scene every time. And part of my next tackle after this kind of big backpack update is going to be getting the data to save and update from scene to scene, because I'm bound to lose a little bit of that. Plus, getting if we go here to the pause, the save button to work. I have a save system set up, or the scripts for it, just not fully set up yet. And that's where this resource tab will come in handy. So this will be based off of all of the prefabs that I have here for these data types, and I'll need to include the produce ones as well. But those basically get saved as JSON objects, and that way you can close out of the app like on your phone, reopen it, and all of your data is there instead of refreshing. And then I think that'll help functionality of my game kind of go a long way. Other than that, it's kind of just hoping to get those big things done and then tackle other issues and challenges as they come. And think near the end of next week or the week after that, I'm hoping to get some art made up for my objects here to make things feel a little bit more fleshed out, and kind of get things rolling. So that's where we're looking at this week, and hopefully next week I have some more substantial updates to share.